boy Corey Joe. Take a ride. We with the Gorilla Groove Podcast. You know? What up, though? What's good, world? It's your boy Corey Joe with the Gorilla Groove Podcast, and today we got my guy Swigz. What's happening?
What up, though?
Let's get to it. For the people who remember you as Slim Koroma, who is that version of you compared to Swigz Sinatra today?
I mean, still the same. You know, Slim. I had to change my name because the whole Slim Shady thing. You know, not that I had to, but I wanted to.
Yeah.
It was just too close to home. So, but yeah, it's still the same, pretty much. Just older, a little wiser.
Okay. Take us back to the Take us back to the grim reality days. What was that mission of the group when you first started?
Grim reality. It started me and my boy Blue. He lived down the street from me, and he was always more of a rapper. I thought he was better than I was. I would get the beats and instrumentals and karaoke machine. Me and him would make tapes, and then we started hanging out with other homies, Q Ball, Baby Mag. At parties, we were all freestyling, and then I got a little 4-track recorder, and then we started doing a drum machine and started making little beats and trying to do it ourselves without really knowing what we were doing. And the goal, I think, was really just to learn and see if we could pull it off.
It worked.
It did work. It did work.
Real. Okay. How did Two Tough Productions come into the picture for you, and what did being part of that group teach you about the business of music?
The label Too Tough TTP. It was just more of because like there was our group, but then there were other groups we were affiliated with and people, you know, J Bone, LNGs, all kinds of, you know. So there was just a lot of talent, and we did the Inktown Illest. So we were just kind of doing all this stuff, and we just kind of put it under one umbrella.
Okay. You remember True to Life? We messed with y'all too.
Yeah, we were fans. We were family. Yep, you had the van with the big True to Life logo, and you had the TTP logo on there too. Yeah. That was a big deal. Yeah. I remember that. Those were good times.
For real. What do you remember most about the independent grind in the early 2000s?
It was just different then because, you know, no internet. Mind if I wrote it? There was no internet. So everything was hand to hand, you know, word of mouth. And you know, living in Kinko's, pressing your own flyers, cutting them up and splicing them, and then going out and promoting them, going to bars and putting them on windshields, gas stations, stack flyers. Everywhere you went, and we would go bar to bar and just promote our shows.
Yeah, I remember those days, boys. Yeah. Those flyers everywhere. All at that was that Thunderbolt. Used to go out there, and then when we had the parties, like we always had the collab parties. Whew, them days, boy. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I can't say I miss it, but I miss it. And I can't say I don't miss it, but I don't miss it.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
There were some things about it that I love.
You know? Yeah. What artists actually influenced you growing up? And when did you discover hip hop actually?
I'm old school. I discovered rap like 84, Fat Boys.
84.
You know, Houdini, all that kind of stuff. Run DMC, Dougie Fresh, and all that stuff. And I just was hooked automatically. The Fat Boys, though.
Okay.
And then later on in life, I started finding out about Detroit rap, and that really influenced me a lot. Like Chaos and Maestro, and AWOL, Awesome Dre, Esham, and all the Detroit And I would watch, like, I didn't have the box. I don't know if you remember the box.
Yeah,
I didn't have that, but I did have. I'd watch the new dance show, and they'd have like a little section in the middle of the show where they throw like Detroit videos on. And that's how I knew about Detroit rap, basically. You know that, and listening to the radio show Billy T at night.
Yeah.
At the Zone, or not the Zone. It was I forgot, but it was Billy T and Basement Tapes. They had that. I used to love that.
Okay. What did artists back then understand about the hustle that you think today's artists might overlook?
Like I said, it was more hand in hand, and you're actually putting in the footwork. Whereas now, you make a flyer, put it on your page, and you still got to kind of promote it. Same thing. You're doing the same thing, but now it's reaching more people. But there's way more competition too. You know.
Hey, one question: how you get into collecting all the records? Collect.
I had them as kids. I had records, and then I got rid of them all. Got into cassettes, then I got into CDs, and then we went to digital. And then I hated the fact that I couldn't just throw something on when on my record player.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started. I went back all the way back with the records because it's fun to collect too, and that was the whole fun of it for me was like getting a record and reading all the liner notes and looking at all the art and the pictures and like it was a whole experience and you listen to it from front to back and it wasn't just like a ringtone or a stream or something in the cloud. It was a physical thing to look at. Own it. Nothing could take. If they get rid of your Spotify, now you don't have nothing.
Right, for real.
So at least you can hold on to your own. I don't know. I'm not against like the new stuff by any means, but I come from the old school.
I just got rid of a whole bunch of CDs too, and I was thinking like, damn, I should have kept them.
Yeah, I wish I never threw out my tapes, my cassettes. I had a lot of rare stuff.
Okay. So, what inspired you to creating the Inktown Illest compilation series?
With the Illest, I'll just be honest with you. At the time, as a kid, I used to skateboard, and then I got older, I quit, and then later on, like early 20s, I tried to skate again, and I broke my arm. And anyways, after that, I was out of work. I was at home, and I had a drum machine, and I was like, well, I can't really work, but give me a chance to try to make beats.
Mm-hmm.
I started making beats. People I knew in rap wasn't a whole lot of people either. It was a cat named like Mulatto and J Bone and a few other people in my neighborhood like Crim Reality and shit. So there wasn't a lot of people back then that rap.
Right. So when you was creating the Inktown Illest, what qualifications or what was you looking for in an artist?
So so I was making beats for people, and I didn't really know a lot of people that rap back then. And then my boy Mike Kirk introduced me to Ricola from Inktown Posse, Menace Society, back in the group, which I looked up to, and they were like idols to me as a kid. You know what I mean? So when I found out like he was coming over to make beats with me, I was like, oh, holy shit, because I really didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
This dude's already had records. They've been selling albums. They had distribution deals. So when he came through, we started making beats, and he knew other rappers. And then it was kind of like, all right, he knew OCB, he knew Epidemic, he knew this, and then it just kind of, and then my boy from Southwest, from the Young Guns, Ski, he knew Mr. Rain, and then so on and so on. So I started making beats, and it kind of worked. We made like 80 copies of the first one, and it kind of worked. And then the second one is where it blew up, where we won awards, and we're in front of the Inkster Ledger paper. And
Inkster Ledger.
That's when it kind of started taking off without me knowing it was going to take off. I was just had a broken arm, was making beats for friends.
Right.
One thing, boom, 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 and then it kind of got pretty wild after that.
That's just
but it was dope because it was like you were able to help other people. You can get your music out and other people, and we were all kind of. But like the downfall was kind of if you help 20 guys out, there's 200 guys that were wondering why you didn't help them out. But if you didn't know them personally and never met them or heard their music, how could you? Right. It wasn't like we had the internet back then. So it was just different, and that was kind of the downfall of it.
Do you feel Inktown Illest received the recognition it deserved in our city?
at that time, I think it did. They had a.
Yeah, me too.
I think it kind of took off bigger than I expected it to.
Yeah. Okay. What motivates you to launch the Ill Flow magazine instead of falling only on music? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a little bumpy there. We got it though. Yeah, it was say it again.
I said, what motivates you to launch Ill Flow magazine instead of focusing only on music?
It was kind of going hand in hand because we were as Grim Reality and Two Tone. We were trying to get like back then they had papers like Metro Times, Real Detroit, Jam Rag, even the Free Press, and we would just no one ever like they do articles about the same rappers and that was in their clique, and they would never show us any love. And here we are, we got fans, we're packing out shows, and they didn't want nothing to do with us. They didn't give us no love in the papers, man. We didn't get nothing. And then when we finally did get a little bit of press, they were dogging us out, because we weren't from Detroit. We were from Inkster. We were, and on top of it, Grim Reality, we were 4 white dudes too. You know what I mean? So like there was no love in the press. So I was like, you know what? I'll do my own magazine and we'll just promote people on our label. We had Madcap, we had, LNG's J-Bone. We had all, True to Life, Chewy. Yeah. Chewy helped me with it. Chewy's the one who really got it started. And then from there, we were just trying to push our own label and have our own interviews, and we did our own thing. I seen Cottonmouth Kings from California. They had their own magazine, and their whole label they pushed, just their labels, and I thought that was a great idea. But then it started to take off. This guy, my boy Ron, I knew him as Twan. He was like, "Hey man, you know what we could do with this?" And me and him started collabing. Next thing you know, he's like, "Go to Mark Kemp." Mark Kemp knows magazines, and he had a magazine called On the Ground Sounds back.
Oh yeah.
So he was like, I was like, I don't know if he's gonna mess with our little pamphlet. You know what I mean? It was a pamphlet. It was a little tiny. I was like, we could try. And we go there, and sure enough, he's all about it. And he's like, we can print them, I can design them, blah blah blah. I just want to be able to promote my shit.
Right.
I was like, perfect. And now we instead of a pamphlet, we had like 3 or 4 pages, and then it started going and going. And the next thing you know, like the Pistons are holding our magazines. They got pictures of Snoop Dogg and Tech Nine's tour bus, and like it just took off. Yeah, right. And the last thing I did with the magazine was the picture with Snoop, and then after that, I had a heart condition. I actually ended up in the hospital after that. But that was right around the same time where the internet started popping, where the magazines just immediately, almost overnight, vanished. Now no longer need them because now we got social media, and that was kind of the end of it. But we had a good run.
Okay. What was your vision always to build platforms for other artists, or did that grow over time?
Yeah, I never was like, you know what, I'm gonna be a producer but like I started making beats, and I guess that was kind of where I started. Like, all right, I like the behind the scenes just as much as I do everything else, and same with the camera too. Just So I guess I do like helping people. Not that I can do a whole lot, but I'll do what I can to help people out.
Right.
Because I got a lot of love not only for rap music but Detroit, and then especially Inkster. And we're all in this kind of the way I look at it. We're all in it together. Still, we're all trying to come on.
Okay, what made you transition into shooting music videos?
Kind of the same thing like the magazine. There's really not a lot of people that shot videos back then. I knew a few people though, and they're actually big movie directors now. And I'd seen them doing videos, and my boy Ron Street at the time would help us do videos. And I'd sit with them and edit, and I learned how to edit while watching. And I wanted to do that. I was like, I want to make videos too, and you can get paid, But like back then, there wasn't a lot of outlets. It wasn't like there was YouTube at first. Yeah. And then when YouTube came out, I was like, all right, now, because back in the day, we couldn't get videos way back in the day. If you pay $10,000 for a video, and even if you did get it on a VHS tape, where were you gonna play it? Who's gonna see it if it ain't on MTV? There was no one to see it. So it didn't exist. So you paid 10 grand for your VHS tape to watch your video, and that was it.
Yeah.
Unless like other little local shows would play it.
I remember that when I shot my first video, man. I think paid like $6,000, and then like matter of fact, it was the guy Kool-Aid. Remember Kool-Aid?
Yeah, yeah.
He shot our video, but with him though, it came a lot of connects. He had a lot of doors open for us, like as far as on the video channels, like what's the guy name, like Pirelli, and
the 7 Mile to Belle,
and it was a channel that came on TV actually. I forgot it, but yeah, it was tough then, let alone before that, you know what I'm saying, with the tapes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, like, it's weird because when I was young and I would watch Yo MTV Raps and I watch, you know, Rap City, I would record them all on my VHS tapes. I had a collection where I recorded them every single day, and even the New Dance Show Detroit videos. I had like volumes of VHS tapes.
I was saying you would sit up there and record them?
And I'll record them, and
like
then
the whole show?
So that way when the show was over, I could rewatch it. And I watched, and anybody came over, I'd make them watch this video, that video. I was that obsessed with music videos, but I never thought that I could do it. So when a time and age came where we could get a camera and at Best Buy and go shoot a music video, I was on it pretty quick.
Like I was telling, I remember you had that little square thing. Yeah, I'm like, that's a camera, like straight up.
It was a flip camera. We shot the I Love Inkster video with that. That was one of the first
and that was what was that, about like 2000 and
something like that. Yeah.
Okay. How different was shooting videos in the early days compared to now, you feel?
Well, when we shot our first video, Cliff, you know, Rev from
Street Justice,
was filming with his boy. I forgot the names.
And they had them big old cameras.
Horrible with names, but they did a little video for us, and you know, it was like I said, it came out all right, but like the editing tools were different back then. We didn't have like the effects and all that. And even if you did have a video, you know that? I thought that was low.
What up, though? You all right? But yeah, I remember that camera.
But yeah, so back then it was more like, you know, and before that they actually had films and, you know, film and had to cut.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't there for that, but like just seeing that how that guy operated, you know, taught me a lot too. And you know, it's crazy how Red's still doing what he's doing.
Yeah, I just watched him on Instagram the other day. Look, is there one video you shot that meant something deeper than people realized to you?
Of like other people or video of my own?
Whether yourself or anybody or
man. I mean, there was a lot of good ones. I don't really have anything that sticks out like that, but like they all meant something. You know, I put in my heart and soul and passion to every video I ever did. Like I did the best I could. I never half-assed a video that I did.
Right.
I might not have had the best cameras or the best lighting or the best this and that, but whatever I was working with, I always made sure to do the best I could with it. And I treated someone's video like it was my own video.
Yeah, figure if you go take the time to do it, might as well get it all, like, for real.
Yeah, and plus it's your name on it and it's your work. And if you do something sweet, then people will want their shit to be sweet.
Yes, sir. All right. Your track, The Glove, received radio play. What inspired that record?
The Glove was, shout out to Info. He's a producer out of Southwest Detroit. I just loved his beats, man. And he made a beat from, I like threw him a sample and he immediately like knocked it out. And then I liked the beat and I was like, let me try something different. It was a little more boom bap than what I'm used to. But I liked it a lot. And it's still dark. So I was like, let me just make a song about driving around the Glove of Michigan, not just Detroit and Inkster, but all around the surrounding cities. Yeah. And I could make a volume 2 and 3 where I even venture out further. And the Glove is, you know, obviously repping, you know, just Michigan.
Okay. What keeps you motivated to continue creating after all these years?
That's a good question because it's just something that's in. If it's in you, it's in you. You know, and if it's not, it's not. But sometimes it is, and then it fades away, or you get interested in something else and you move forward. And I took a long hiatus, like 2 decades, where I got into videos. I didn't rap no more. And something hit me where I was like, you know what? I'm at the age now where I want to drop one last project, put it on vinyl record, and press it, and so I'm like giving it a shot. And I'm just kind of like, now I'm doing all these video. I got connections with video guys and producers and studios. I might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Especially now with the new age of the internet and stuff. And like, even though I'm older, I feel like I can still have fun doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's part of you, it's like sometimes at night I want to go to bed and rhymes start hitting me in the head where like, rapping knee, laughing knee, and I'm like, oh man, trying to go to bed, and then you hurry up, get up, and you start writing all these ideas down, and next thing you know, a song came to fruition without you. You're wanting to go to bed, so it's like now and it's like, man, this is a dope song. It came to me, so I have to write it down, and so I don't know. I still love it, and I still want to do stuff with Grim Reality. I still want to work with those guys. But
I feel that. I've been kind of feeling the same way lately, man. Like, it's just, I got so much stuff to talk about now. Like, 'cause, I retired from 30, so I was thinking that was old,
Me too.
And then now it's like, dang, I got real life stuff to talk about now. I done grew, I done learned. Look, what was the hardest lesson you learned in this music business?
There's a lot to learn, but I mean, a lot of it was like, not everyone was always your friend.
No.
And if you were trying to help somebody out, if you didn't help them out, again, you're the bad guy. Or I guess really, man, with music, it just seemed like when you ride, if people like to ride a wave, kind of, and when that wave fades, there's another wave, and you got to go where the wave is sometimes, and it's almost like you can't take it personal that people are trying to, when something fades, they got to move on to something else. But I guess I learned, and plus, a lot of people you thought was showing you love didn't, and I guess that's it. But at the same time, most of my friends I've gotten from the music game.
I know that feeling as well.
Yeah.
But if you can get Slim Koroma from 20 years ago one piece of advice, what would it be?
Enjoy it while it lasts. Quit thinking that things are gonna last forever, and don't focus so much on the dreams, but also focus on what's in front of you in reality, and treat people good. Because the same people on your way up that you see are going to be the same people you have to face on your way down, and they'll remember you. I don't know if that answers the question.
No, that's good. I'm kind of jumping to the question I was about to ask a little bit. So when it's all said and done, how do you want your city to remember you?
I guess a guy that tried to help whoever he could to see the people, the talent in Inkster make it. We're all in this kind of together, and I still feel like I'm part of it, even though there's all these different waves, and I'm not really on any of them. Some of them I'm down with, but
okay, what does legacy mean to you? Not just in music, but as a man.
I just want to be remembered for, I guess like the same answer, kind of just a guy to help push other people and get them, do what I can to make connections and introduce, I don't know if that answers the question, but I guess.
Yeah, it does.
You
So look, now, the name of my truck is the Gorilla's Groove, and I try to remember that, so all my guests is, what gets you in a groove? Whether it's music, whether to shoot a video or anything, what gets you in a groove?
A lot of things, and sometimes it's not even music, but when I might see a video and be like, I want to do a video like that, or I might, hear a beat and instantly want to rhyme, or I want to do movies. But what motivates me, I guess, like sometimes I'll even watch YouTube clips of something, or one of my favorite lyricists, and kind of inspire me, or like interviews of people that are talking about, that came from the bottom and rose to the top, and I get inspired by, and sometimes I'll just drive around listening to beats and get inspired.
is it anything we didn't touch on that you'd like to touch on, or anything you want to ask me, or?
Yeah, we could. How do you feel about like the new wave of Inkster? Because like we come from there's been so many different waves,
I
and now there's a new wave.
I like it, man. I like how the artists, they ain't even just younger ones now. I like how everybody coming together now, especially the younger
Me too.
ones, and I'm liking the movement they bring. I didn't even tap into a couple of the younger guys like Fofo ACL. I tapped into his podcast. I got on my mind as well, and he been putting me up on like just different stuff with the younger generation. Then the young guy, Pilo, he grew up with me as like a little brother. Like all the stuff he doing, who do the Taco Tuesdays at Stardust every Tuesday, just popping.
I think I seen that interview.
Yeah, and I really like it all because we didn't try it, we didn't actually have people together or whatever, but
Yeah,
we ran into a lot of mishaps, over time, people egos, and like you said, people saying how I ain't make the illest and this and that. Like, yeah, y'all getting mad shit. I ain't make the illest. Oh well,
yeah.
it is what it is. But it's like, I'm loving the little movement now, man.
I like
Not
it
little
too.
I'm loving that movement thing on.
Yeah, I do too.
And I wish them all the success.
And there's a lot more than just one wave happening right now too. There's
Right.
in Inkster, but like,
and it's not just music.
Yeah,
it's everything.
It's all coming together, and it's because I think most people here realize like ain't no other city's gonna try to push us. We got to push ourselves,
right?
And then to be seen, and now we're seeing it like we're exploding on the Detroit sites and other states.
I'm loving that.
But like seeing like what Links and those guys and Bird and like I don't want to get too many names, but like their whole thing like Mocha and what they got going and Runaway Love and T-Dot Pringle and all that wave, and then the real Rich Izzo and like there's just so many cats doing things. LOM Rudy.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's amazing. I'm like, man, little dog.
Oh, somebody dog.
Ain't got no collar.
But yeah, that's pretty cool right now. They all in connection. And, they able to come to the table. And I love that, bro. I love it.
We did it kind of back in the day, but we didn't really have the internet to push it further either. But now not only they have it, but they're taking advantage of it, and they're doing, and like they own their own businesses, and some of them have stores. I mean, like stuff at that age. When I was that age, I probably wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about doing shows and chasing chicks. But like, I was never on that. Like they're really on that business level too, and they're talented. There's so much, and it wasn't just the names I named. There's so many more, and they're all doing like, and that makes me happy and proud. Like wow, they actually making it happen for themselves.
Imagine if we would have had all them connects back then. The everything, the internet, you know what I'm saying. Imagine.
Yeah. But at the same time, like what we did build was different than what other people had.
Right.
Like we did a really different thing. The way we came up, those shows were the shit.
Yeah, we did.
I mean,
a lot of them too.
They weren't just like rapping in front of other MCs. These were like shows with women and packed out, and it wasn't always a lot of violence. Really, most of our shows kept pretty cool too. Yeah, there's always mishaps, but
like man, I don't know, those days, it's good days. But yeah, I'm loving they movement, man. Shout out to those guys and those women and everything. It's putting the city on the map even more. But anything else you want to touch on that we didn't?
For me too, I guess if I was to touch on some stuff like back in the day when like Inktown Posse was a big song. That was the first time I heard an Inkster rapper ever, and they had a cassette out and everything. I was blown away. And then the second time for me was I was working at Little Caesars, man, and it was like Friday night, and WJLB was playing like they play like one Detroit song here and there. They played it. They were like, "How the Inkster?" And I ran to the radio and turned it up. And Forest Dwellers. Leaves a change of color, and I didn't even know who they were or nothing. But like I heard that song, and I was just like, oh my God, they're from my city and they're playing them on a Detroit station. I couldn't believe it. And that stuck with me too. Like that was big to me. And then I ended up being, homies with both of them.
Yeah.
And tight homies at that. Label mates and all that, making music together. But the roots of it, man, I guess, always intrigued me. And those were the beginning waves. Those were the first two waves.
Yeah.
And all the ways we've seen and been part of, all the way to where we're at now. And for it being such a small city, I feel like we really do move.
Yeah.
Like all of us stay in tune and we move.
That's why I'm so proud of the movement now with the younger ones, because I really want to see this city blow up. So I look at it like, man, Atlanta could do it that big, and different big states and southern states, whatever.
Yeah.
Like we got this little ass city, man. They ain't even shit. What it's about 20,000 people in here, if that. But that'd be great, man. Like just get the whole city on the map, man.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at Inkster as a bad way, like a baby Detroit, whatever. No, I look at it as like it's pure talent, it's pure greatness that come from here. And everybody cool, not just this, but everybody cool in their own way.
Right.
But
and it's kind of like Babytron and Ipsy, like Ipsy started taking off. Yeah. It was about time other cities started getting recognized too. But without the internet, I don't know if it'll be as easy. You know what I mean? Like I think the internet does help with a lot of things.
It helps a whole lot. Not only with just like right now, like we can literally right now either sit in the car or go in the studio, make a song, and load it right up. First, we got to go to where we used to get the CDs pressed up at.
Oh man, in the mix,
and
Sterling Heights, like that drive,
and CD Baby and all that stuff. You got to wait. Damn near a month with CD Baby. You got to wait for this and this that. Now you can just load straight on up, and now it's easy to access. Like you remember how we used to have to send everything to ASCAP and BMI and wait on that. Mm-hmm. Now just everything so much quicker, man.
Yeah.
Like I wish we did have that. And then like I was telling you about, like I retired with the music, but now it's like I really been thinking about coming back a little bit, because it's people my age that want to hear about these bills and taking care of these kids and stuff like that. So it's like, I don't know, man.
And plus, you get better within time.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when we had our peak, like focusing on lyrics weren't as important back then as it is to me now. For now, I like the storytelling and the rhyme, and like the rhyme schemes, and lyrically is more important to me now than it ever has. Mm-hmm. Whereas back in the day, like I said, it was more about packing out the shows and chasing chicks.
Like before we get up out of here, I want to talk about, you got anything coming up? What you got planned in the near future, in the future, or what's up with you?
The latest thing is I got a new song and video called The Flood.
The Flood.
Produced by Crew Jordan. He's from another state, and he laced me with a beat, and then I got a shot by Envision. My boy Papo shot the video, and dropping that. So by the time this interview, it's probably already out. So look for that. Swigz Sinatra, The Flood. And then like later on in the year, I'm trying to get an album pressed up, like an actual vinyl record, and streaming too. But the project, I want to call it The Grim Father.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's sweet.
Kind of from like Grim Reality. I'm gonna do like The Grim Father, man, and I want to get hopefully some old school cats from that era on there, like you guys, even maybe catch J-Bone.
Let me know, man. We come do something.
Dub hit me up. He made some beats, sent me a beat. I want to do something with him. I still, if it was up to me, I'd have another Grim Reality album. If it was up to me. But life is what it is, and you can't, force it on people. And everybody's living their own lives.
How about a Grim Reality album and an Inktown Illest double disc?
I'd be down for it, and I'd like to do an Inktown Illest for life, but I wouldn't even know how to go about it. It's different now, because back then it was CDs, and now I don't know,
record. put it out.
But I do like what me and J-Bone were doing. The Inktown Illest now was just promoting other people from Inkster, their videos, and talking about them. And that was kind of what Inktown Illest turned in for us, you know. But I still would like to have some compilations. There's so many artists to keep up with now. That's the thing too, man. Back in the day, if somebody dropped a video, like you be talking about a year later. Now people dropping videos weekly, monthly,
right?
And you can't keep up with everything. Where I'm like, man, there's like 5 videos of this dude's stuff I never even seen, and I love all his stuff, but I didn't know there's all this too. Like, it's hard to keep up, especially when you're busy doing your thing too.
Yeah.
But I try to keep up with what's new. Like, I think even when I'm 80, I'll probably still have an ear to the streets of what music, you know?
That's what's up. That's what's up, because it's like you'll be tuned in, or just say if somebody from the neighborhood, your neighborhood, or your street or whatever, growing up and want to get into music, you'll be able to do some good, what it's called, artist development with them, or guide them in the right direction, plug them to the studio, you know, shit like that. But man, I ain't gonna hold you up. I appreciate you so much for coming out rocking with me, man.
For sure, man.
And I'm honored to have you on here. Like, you know, we go way, way back. I remember I did my first song in your studio back then.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I appreciate you for coming out, man. And
I appreciate you having me.
How can the fans and everybody reach you? How can they get in contact with you or check out your work?
I don't do a whole lot of social media like I should, but I'm on Instagram and YouTube, Swigz Sinatra.
Swigz Sinatra.
If you're on Instagram, it's Swigz, SWIGZ _ Sinatra. It'll pop up. You'll see the cartoon logo. And that's the best way. And then same with YouTube, just type Swigz Sinatra. It'll pop up.
Okay. Like I said, I appreciate you for coming out. And everybody, like, comment, subscribe, share. Thanks for tuning in to the Gorilla Grooves podcast. Y'all have a wonderful
Crooked
day.
Eye, Inktown. You there? J-Bone made this shirt for me, Inktown.
That's what's up. Peace out.